So we have our next presenter, which is Daylily Salon and Spa, and then also she has a nonprofit that she's going to talk a little bit about and how she got here.
That's right. Morning, everybody. I apologize. I have bronchitis. This is the first time I've done a presentation with bronchitis. So if you can't hear me, I'll try to get louder. My name is Nikki Cicak, and I'm here with Daylily Salon and Spa. I also have the Max Cicak Memorial Foundation. And you're thinking, what in the world could those two things possibly have to do with each other? You'd be surprised. I could sit here and tell you why we're the greatest salon in town and why you should come and we're the bee's knees. And while all of those things are true, it's not going to sell you on coming. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we are and how we kind of got where we are, and then in turn how the foundation came from that. About 20 years ago, I graduated high school, went to beauty school, was just supposed to be a way to work my way through college, which it did. I went through, got my master's in philanthropy and development, and started working in the nonprofit sector. My plight in life seemed to be to build development programs where there weren't any. So I would go into a nonprofit and teach them how to fundraise for themselves. Through the years, my dad was sick. We had different elements with him that we just were always kind of fighting. And about 7-8 years ago, things took a real turn for the worse. And my mom and I were talking one day, and we realized that all of our lives, we've always been taught to have a backup plan, and we didn't have a backup plan. So if something happened to my dad, it was going to be catastrophic for everybody. So her and I had the idea to open Daylily Salon and Spa. We were like, this is something we could do. We know we can make it work, and we're going to do it. So we did. We opened our doors in 2011, in October of 2011. We're family owned and operated. We handpicked our staff. Things were going great. February of 2012, my dad got diagnosed with his third round of cancer, which is the cancer that ended up taking his life. So any of you who've opened a business, the first year, it's pretty tough. 6 months in, we had to deal with a catastrophic family event at the same time. So we instead of working on growing our business, we had to go into survival mode and just try to make it through each day. We knew we had more flexibility with our time with this kind of a business because we could take care of him, we could go to his doctor's appointments, but it was all of this back and forth, just literally surviving. So in 2014, all of our worst fears came to light. My dad passed away. Again, you're just still kind of in survival mode, and you're like, what do we do now? Like, now we have to figure it out. So we got through those first couple of years. We're kind of, hitting our 6th year now and kind of getting into our swing, and we're like, what have we done? So we are at a point now, I would say we're at a point now where we're kind of pivoting. We're at the first point that we could stop and take a breath and figure out what it was that we want to focus on, where we want to fit in the niche market. Colorado Springs is a very competitive industry for salons. There's 5 on every corner. You can throw a rock and hit 12. So we were like, well, what are we going to do to make ourselves stand out? So we went back to our roots. We have strong family. Our favorite place in our whole world is when our backyard is full of people that we love and people that we care about, and we wanted to create that atmosphere in our salon. So we, sorry, I have a hard time breathing. We created an environment where women could come and feel empowered. You can come there, you can cry if you need to cry, you can laugh if you need to laugh, you could kick your feet up, have a glass of wine if that's what you need. But we wanted to have a place that you came and you felt like you left there a better version of yourself. So not only could you come there and get your hair done, get your pedicure done, your massage done or whatever, but you left feeling like a better person. And so that's what we did. We empower our staff. We do everything we possibly can to keep them strong in their industry, strong in their education. Through all of that, we've created an environment of supporting women's organizations. We support children's organizations as much as we possibly can. We feel like if you start with a younger generation and you build up, all you do is create a better generation for the next. We've also teamed up with the Men's Exchange to offer haircuts for guys going through their programs. great guys are great for women. We believe in empowering them too. We just want everybody to feel good. So anyway, through that, we also began to really realize that we have a culture of philanthropy in that. My dad was a Vietnam veteran and a volunteer firefighter in his younger days. And he was a biker and a diesel mechanic. He was just a guy's guy, you know. And so, but he was the most philanthropic human being I have ever met in my life. Growing up, we didn't have anything. And I cannot tell you how many times I watched him stick his hand in his pocket and give out the last $2 that we had to somebody who needed it worse than we did. He told me over and over and over again, he says, everything that we have is not ours. It's only ours until somebody else who needs it more presents themselves. Sorry. I wasn't going to do this. So he instilled that in the four of us children, and obviously my mom. And so my background in the nonprofit sector gave me the opportunity to give back to the people that had given so much to us over our lives. My dad went through a liver transplant. He went through all kinds of stuff. And people, the biker community was incredible. They came together, they held fundraisers, like they helped cover our medical expenses. And I was like, I can't just sit here and not give back to those people. So we opened the Cicak Memorial Foundation, where we're a itty bitty tiny nonprofit right now that works with first responders. We hold a big, huge fundraising event every year for El Paso County Search and Rescue. It's a big poker run in August 26th. Note your calendars. And we were granted this ride by a family friend of ours who was kind of aging out of being able to do it. So she told me, she's like, you know, baby, if you take over this ride, then you can name it after your dad and you have the energy to do this. And little did she know I have no energy. So we took over a ride that this year we will be celebrating their 30th anniversary, our third year of hosting the event. The first year that we took it over, we tripled the revenue that they had brought in from years past. So we were really proud of that. And do I have time? Okay, so yeah. Sorry, I could talk all day about this. Is there any questions?
Where is Daylily?
Daylily. Oh yeah, so sorry, my slide didn't work. I had all of our contact information. We're at Vickers and Academy. It's in the Arundel Square Shopping Center. We're in the same shopping center where Pikes Peak Coffee is. A lot of people know where that's at. So yeah, and we're full service. So we do everything, hair, skin, nails, massage, you name it.
So is your foundation only for like first responders, fire departments, those? Talk a little bit more about what you do for them.
Thank you so much. That's where I was getting to, so thank you. Yeah, so we work with search and rescue right now, and we are also expanding into fire departments. The whole mission of what we want to do with the foundation is take what I've learned in the nonprofit sector in the traditional 501c3 setting and institute that in a fire department setting. Fire departments are great about fundraising for everybody else. They do nothing for themselves. The chili cook-off's not going to pay the utility bills. So what I do is I go in and I teach them how to institute a sustainable fund development program using resources they already have in place. So I liken it to we're a consulting company that comes in and consults with them, but we do it all at no charge to the fire department. That's where the charity part comes in. The reason for that is we work with such small fire departments, they can't afford for us to come in and do it. So we take that expense off of them, teach them how to take the resource they already have, put all that in place, and we do it while at the same time teaching them that if we are taken out of the scenario, how they can keep doing that into perpetuity. So we have endowment plans that we would teach them how to implement. You know, if I was hit by the proverbial bus, these are the things you would do. There's a manual kind of idea that they could take and do themselves.
How would my business, or any business for that matter, start the process of helping you?
So, if it's on the side of the salon, I would say, come visit us. Shop local. Those are all important things. If it's on the foundation side of things, right now we're trying to build our fund base. So we're building our donor base right now. I fundraise for the foundation to bring money in to offset the cost of what we're doing for the fire department. It costs money for me to go and sit for 3 or 4 hours and do a training class with the fire department. but I can't charge them that money. So we go on the back end, I fundraise from businesses, individuals. I basically do what I'm doing for them for us. So if first responders is a thing you're interested in, you want to make a donation, that's the best way to help us at this point.
And you're helping volunteer fire.
Well, this is the great part about this. We started with volunteer fire departments because they're already chartered as a 501c3.
Okay.
But municipality fire departments, we were thought, well, they're going to be off limits because they're a municipality, but they're not. We learned that we can do this exact same thing for CSFD. So right now, I'm in meetings with Chief Colas, and we're working at teaming up with CSFD to do the same thing on a bigger scale. They have already started a fire foundation for Colorado Springs, which I recently just learned, so it was like ecstatic. I was like, this is my dream. So we're teaming up with them to pool our resources together. So we can do this on a much bigger scale than what I can do by myself. So
I have a fundamental lack of understanding about why our first responders would need a foundation or anything like that, because I would assume my tax dollars would provide what they needed. So can you talk a little bit about why?
yeah, so I mean, the government's not going to pay your way no matter what institution you're in. There's only so much funding, and it gets spread really thin. A lot of times law enforcement kind of gets a bigger chunk of that just because they have to. Fire departments traditionally have kind of started out as volunteers, and then they grew into a more organized organization. They get funding, they all get funding of some amount. The problem is there's a big gap. There's a gap between what they actually get and what they actually need. So we're trying to help bridge that gap between those two numbers. We're not trying to get it where the city cuts any funding. It's none of that kind of stuff. We want to help fill in the middle. They may get basic equipment. I mean, one set of bunker gear is $4,500. So if you aren't getting funding for that, we got to make that up somewhere because guys can't go with bunker gear that doesn't fit.
I was speaking to that same point as well, so.
Yeah.
Throughout the rest of the budget cuts that we get throughout just in our city alone, turnout gear, bunker gear, our firefighters there's a separate department that sews that back together once you get the tear or snap in it, so it's going to be more funding for that. It means we have to buy those supplies, we have to do all those other pieces that are in there, and that does not come out of the city's budget, it comes out of other fundraising opportunities.
Right.
The last large engine and cutting apparatus that cuts through cars to get people out did not get funded by the city.
Right.
Colorado Springs get funded through the foundation.
Yep.
So the vast majority of those things, the things that get funded by the city includes the facility itself and paying salaries for individuals, and about 3/4 of the gear. About 25% of the gear that our first responders
Right.
get does not come from there, and it must come from other charitable donations. So it becomes really essential and that's in a large-scale fire department like CSFD.
Right.
When we talk about smaller volunteer versions, it is almost impossible to make ends meet when we're talking about doing something in public safety.
And when he talks about funding salaries, it's the bare minimum requirements for the minimum firefighters on a shift. So if you're working at the bare minimum number, you have no wiggle room. So we try to help fill that gap again by increasing more budget dollars that they can use to hire more firefighters. It's great that we have volunteer departments, but these guys have to have regular jobs to pay the bills. So if we could funnel that where we could take those volunteers and bring them into paid positions, we'd have more paid firefighters on staff.
So of all of the different departments you've helped so far, what's kind of your biggest win? What's kind of the funnest success you've had?
Right now, working with CSFD is a pretty big win for us. The fact that I was even able to sit down at the table with them was huge. The fact that they're as excited about it as I am is a win. I kind of laugh because I got started in this totally by accident. My ex was a firefighter, and he worked at a volunteer department and was like, oh my God, we have no money. Like, you have to help them find money. And the first department I worked with, it was totally like, I just walked in one day and I was like, here are some ideas, like, you should probably do this. You know, and I learned there's a real problem there. It was actually a department that didn't really want to do what it would take to change. And it ended up being, long story short, that I walked away from the situation, which to me was a huge epic fail. It was my big epic fail. I was like, what is the matter with them? Like, this would make all the difference in the world. So it's funny that you talked about the epic fails. I think it's funny. Our epic fail was actually a big win because in the turn it taught us ways to reformulate the way we communicate with fire departments.
How do you work with the salon business and the philanthropy? Do you have a firewall between them? Or is it...
I don't sleep. I haven't slept in 7 years. I run on pure caffeine. I have an incredible staff. My mom and I are partners in the salon, and she does carry a lot of the load of different things. I can carry the load of other things. My sister has come on board with us. She takes the load off of me for a lot of things. I can pass things on to her. I am not a good delegator, so I've had to learn how to delegate those things. And I quite literally don't sleep. I mean, I work 7 days a week between both things.
How are most of your salon clients finding you right now?
So that is where our big struggle comes in, because there are a dime a dozen around here. Finding our niche marketing, I should say, is hard. We've tried everything under the sun. Obviously, salons, your biggest thing is going to be referrals, people who love us and people in. I am old and I don't like social media, so I've had to learn how to be good at social media and know that it's called a hashtag, not a pound sign anymore. So we, oddly enough, we've gotten clients off of hashtags. I mean, it's the weirdest thing I've ever heard, but I think that for us is our biggest struggle, is finding where we don't get lost in the noise. And where we're open to ideas. I'll get you a second if you want to go.
Well, I was just going to say thank you. I mean, I have 30 years in the fire service, started as a
Oh.
volunteer, I know where you're at. But I love what you said about, we joke about 200 years of tradition undefeated by progress.
Yes, that's, yes.
We complain about everything, but we don't want to change.
Yeah.
So what are you doing, besides walking away? How are you getting them to see you as a resource versus that? I mean, what have you
I
done
think
anything special to break that paradigm of change?
I think for me, it's been learning your language. I can go in and throw the acronyms around with the best of them now. It's learning how to communicate with you. Whereas I went in before and I was like, you just need to do this because it's smart. Like it doesn't work that way in the fire service. It is a tradition of traditions. I mean, everything has been done this way for 100 years and we're not going to change. Where I think we made the mistake in the beginning is I went into smaller departments first. I should have went to the top first. Getting in with Chief Collis and conversations with him has made a big difference. When you have somebody who's as innovative as he is and forward thinking as he is, I mean, we could not have a better fire chief if you asked me. So he can help me with those conversations. Him and I can talk, and then he can help me decipher it into fire language. That I think has helped, and I think will make a big difference in the long run. And them seeing the benefit of what we're doing. I mean, when they don't have to beg, borrow, and steal for equipment, they can just come in and say, "I need this." I think that'll make a big difference.
What contingencies do you have? Because your model of 7 days a week is not sustainable.
That is 100% accurate. Why do you think I have bronchitis and I'm still at work?
The reasons that we come together is to try to ask these type questions so that you can maybe blind spots or things that are filling some gaps for you as well.
I think that is something I need help with. I don't think that I am good at, like I said, I'm learning to delegate responsibilities. I think what I need right now is a staff on the foundation side who just wants to work for free, because I don't get paid right now, So until we get that built up enough where I have paid staff that can help me, that's where I struggle the most, is everything that has to be done I have to do right now. And it's finding volunteers and interns that can come in and help kind of be like, okay, I need you to handle this part, and I can delegate salon stuff over here, and I can delegate fire stuff over here. I don't have the answer to that question, and that's what I'm literally in the process of trying to figure out. So
let's talk about that after this, because I think we have
I would just really like to take a nap. There's an app for that. I'm sure, and you know, maybe if I learned to love social media, I would have more people to help me. I don't know.
Do you have a board for your foundation?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a board for your foundation?
I have kind of an unofficial one at the moment. I'm in the process of putting together our formal board of trustees. I have,
People work.
I'm sorry?
Make those people work. That's what it is.
Well, that's what I do. I have an advisory committee that works with me that helps plan the big event that we do for search and, I mean, it's huge, the search and rescue thing that we do. And so those people are kind of helping me now as I transition them from just doing that event into helping more with the foundation side of things. So I'm kind of teaching them how to do it as we go. Yeah.
We have time for our super special question.
What is it we can do as a college for students? Both sides.
Both sides.
Both sides. Day spa and foundation.
The number one thing is shop local. Support small business. We are the second, with the salon side, it's literally come through our doors. Come have a service done. Come visit us. Get to know the atmosphere. You will never meet a funner group of girls that there's great camaraderie. They all love each other. It's amazing. On the foundation side, it's right now we need dollars. We need money to be able to hire and support what we're trying to do and offset the cost of what we're doing with the fire service. So, I mean, if you want to write me a check, I'll take it. Thank you.